The Arch Gaming Network is proud to bring you this flash review. Now here's your host, Sean Smith.
Hello and thank you for stopping by. Today we are taking a look at the 2 to 5 player game Biotix that was designed by Zach Huff and published by Smirk and Dagger games. Now the tagline for this game is play dirty and get a reaction. And no truer words could be said about this game. You see, this game features, first of all, drawing. So you're going to be drawing these microbes, biotics, out of a bag. And you have a petri dish that you're going to be placing them into. It also features a push your luck mechanism because you don't want to get too many in your dish. And then by far the biggest part of the game is a take that mechanism, because you don't want to have too many of these various microbes, biotics or whatever you want to call them, in your own petri dish, because when you have too many, a bioreaction occurs and it causes negative things. I mean, you have some magnetic biotics, you have some repulsive, even this explosive biotic. Ooh. So what you're going to be trying to do is try to keep the most that you can in your dish and causing other people to have bioreactions in theirs. Again, you don't want to get too many of these into your dish, you know. But hey, I am a trained board gamer. I'm a professional board gamer. I know what I'm doing. Now don't you try this at home. I'm just going to mix all of these up, including this explosive one. I mean, they're just wooden. Nothing's going to happen anyway. We'll be fine. But why don't we take a look at the setup to the game? Okay, to set up Biotix, and we're set up for a 3-player game here, each player is going to get a petri dish, and depending on the number of players that you have, it will determine what side of the card you use. 2 to 4 players will use this side, and 5 players will use this side. All right, you have your cheat sheet card here. It also is double-sided, 5-player game, 2-player game. And you can set those in between each of the players. Now this card, it lists all of the different biotics, what will trigger a bioreaction, what you need to do to resolve that reaction, and then the values that will be left at the end of the round based on how many of those particular biotics you have left in your petri dish. All right, then you have a bunch of biotics. This is not all of them. You also have some aggressive biotics, and if you're going to play with that variant, you're going to put all those in there. All of them will go into this bag here and just put it near the first player. The first player is also going to take the start timer. It's the white biotic, and we'll place it on the number 3. You also have a Biotix biocontainment box. It's actually just part of the actual game box, but it has a little lid here that you can kind of put on here. When you are trashing the biotics, you're going to just lift this up and throw them in there. That way they stay hidden. This, however, we're just going to put off to the side here. Like I said, you give the first player the Biotix bag, and you are now ready to go. Now, on a player's turn, you're going to take the Biotix bag, you'll reach in and draw 2 at random. All right, so the first player has drawn these. Now, you are allowed to take these and place them either onto your own dish or into another player's dish. So, let's say she'll place one here and maybe place one over there. Now she'll pass the bag to the next player, who will draw out 2. She drew those, so I think she'll probably keep the yellow one and maybe pass this one back over to this player. Then the third player will reach in and take 2 And I'm going to go ahead and place them both here on his own tray. Now the bag is passed back to the first player. When that happens, the player will move this to the 2. Okay, let's take a closer look at your Petri dish. Okay, so on your Petri dish card, you have a spot for the aggressive biotics to go to. The first time you're given one, it'll go here, and then after that, they have to go into your Petri dish, and it'll mimic one of the other spots in that dish. That's, of course, if you're playing with that particular variant. Then over here, you have the timer for the day. The first player will have 3, 2, 1, and then when it goes off the board, that timer marker goes into the bag, and then whoever draws that white timer token out will immediately end the day. Then you have the Petri dish itself, and these are the spots that you have when you draw the biotics out. Those that you want to keep, you'll put in here. Of course, other players can also send biotics to your dish as well. Over here, you just have a summary of the biotic scoring at the end of the day. Now play will continue around and around, pulling out 2, placing them either into your dish or another player's dish until this timer goes off of the player mat. Once that happens, that player will place the white token back into the bag. Now play will continue going around and around until somebody pulls the white one out. When that happens, the round immediately ends and scoring will take place. So let's go ahead and fast forward the game a little bit here. Alright, so the goal of the game is to score the most points after 3 days of research. A day is when it goes all the way through the timer and somebody draws the white timer out of the bag to end the round or that particular day. When that happens, you're going to add up the total that you have in your Petri dish. And so, for example, for every migratory one you have in your dish, you're going to get 2 points. For every attractive, 3 points. For every repulsive, you'll get 5 points. And then for every explosive, you'll get 15 points, which there's only one spot for that. So what happens, let's say it's this player's turn, and you draw a red and a purple. Well, you, again, can put it into your own dish or an opponent's dish. But if at any time you put more into your dish than you have spaces for, a bioreaction occurs, and you must follow the instructions based on this sheet here. So let's take a closer look at what happens when there is a bioreaction. Okay, this card will help you know what you're supposed to do during a bioreaction. It covers scoring and is very helpful to have. First off, you have the different types of biotics that are in the game. You have the migratory, attractive, repulsive, magnetic, explosive, and then the aggressive. Now, this column here tells you how many it takes to cause a bioreaction. So if you ever have 4 plus of the migratory in your Petri dish, or if you send them to any Petri dish and it causes them to have 4 or more, it causes a bioreaction. And that's what this column is for. This column, of course, is the effect of that bioreaction and what will actually happen. So, for example, in a repulsive one, if you have a bioreaction, you have to take all of your green ones and you have to trash them. You have to throw them away into the biocontainment box. Then you have to trash one more of the other ones that you have. If you had any other additional ones, let's say you had a red one, you'd have to trash that one as well. And then the final column tells you how many each one is worth at the end of the day. So for every blue you have, you'll get 2 points. If you manage to have a yellow one at the end of the day, you'll get 15 points. Now the aggressive biotics acts a little differently. The reason it says NA next to the bioreaction trigger is because since it is mimicking one of these other ones, it would follow whatever the rules are for that particular biotic. And it's important to note, for every black one you have in your Petri dish at the end of the day, you're going to get minus 2 points. However, if you have a complete takeover, meaning that, let's say in the migratory spot, you had all 3 black ones, you're going to get 5 points apiece. There's also something called a Eureka paradox. That's a catch-up mechanism that you can put into the game as well. We're not covering that here, but just know that it is available. So player 1 here still has the red and the purple. Well, that would cause a bioreaction for each of them. An attractive one, the red, which would make you trash your attractive, but then you could take 2 biotics from any other player. Maybe not a bad thing, but she doesn't feel like she wants to do that. And then you have the purple, which is the magnetic, which is to trash the magnetic biotics in every player's dish. Well, that would make you get rid of 2 of your own as well. So I think what she would do, player 1 would do, is just give this red over here and the purple over here as well, so that it doesn't cause any kind of bioreaction. Well, now let's say it's this player's turn, player 2 here, and let's say he's drawn the yellow and the green out. Now he has a decision to make. Now, just for simplicity's sake, let's just say this player's name was, well, I don't know, Mike, and maybe this player over here's name was Peter. Just random names I'm just drawing out of the air for this particular example. Now, Mike could take this green here and place it on his own. He'd be safe to do that. No bioreaction would occur. However, he's going to go ahead and place these on Peter's card here to cause a couple of bioreactions.
You know what I'm talking about.
Now, Mike here gets to choose what order the biotics are handed out. So he's going to go ahead and hand Peter this one, which will now cause a bioreaction, and it's the repulsive one, which means that Peter here would have to trash all of his repulsives.
No!
And 1 more of his biotics. So after he takes those green, he's going to just toss them over into the biocontainment box like so. Now Peter still has to get rid of 1 more. And, you know, he doesn't really want to give up this yellow, but if he doesn't, he's pretty sure Mike's going to send this yellow his way, which would make him get rid of it anyway and have to give away 3 of his other biotics. So what Peter's going to do is just go ahead and take that hit and remove the yellow and hope, you know, that Mike will be friendly enough and give that away. Well, this supposed Mike fellow has decided, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and give yellow to that first player. So that's how bioreactions work. Now, it's important to note when a bioreaction causes a chain reaction on another player's card, you're going to resolve them in the order that they happened. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say this, quote, Peter fella decided not to get rid of that yellow one. Instead, maybe got rid of one of the red ones here. And then Mike went ahead and gave it to him, which made him trash both of them. But then Peter has to give away 3 of his additional biotics. What he could do is take these 3, for example, and give them to Mike, and he'll give him the 2 blue ones first. That's going to cause a bioreaction on his dish, and the penalty for that is that you have to give one of these to every player, all right, and then trash the rest. Peter is still going to give him this magnetic one, which is going to cause everybody to lose all of their magnetic biotics, and once again into the trash heap. That, my friend, is probably how this would have gone down between these 2 fictional players.
Nailed it.
Okay, so how does the aggressive biotics work? Well, when you draw one out of the bag, again, you can choose to either put it into your own petri dish or somebody else's dish. Now, whenever somebody gets a second one, let's say this player was given a second one, what's going to happen is you're going to take one of them and you have to place it somewhere in your dish.
return to your scheduled programming shortly, while we are currently experiencing technical difficulties.
When you do, it will mimic that particular one. So maybe places it in blue. This is now considered blue. Now that doesn't sound so bad, right? Because it sounds like it's a wild.
No, dear, that's
Well,
wrong.
for purposes of putting him into your dish, yes. However, if you ever have Biotix at the end of the round, let's say at the end of the round he had 2 of them there, you would get -2 points for each one that you had in that particular spot. Now in this particular example, when you go to score, you would get 2 points for having this one, but then these would also count for -2 points each. You want to be careful because if you ever let a player do a complete takeover of a particular region like this, these will each score 5 points apiece. And again, play will continue as you do 3 days of going around, adding up your scores at the end of each day. And then, at the end, whoever has the most points is the winner. Alright, so that is Biotix. And it's a fun game. The components in it are nice. You have those wooden Biotix that have a good color. I like the use of the box to be that bio-containment box. I thought that was kind of cool. One thing though, I don't like the stickers. All of those Biotix have stickers on them. Now you don't have to put the stickers on them, and thank goodness my wife and sister-in-law enjoy doing that sort of thing, because I started to do a couple of them. I'm like, you know what?
Oh no.
Nope, not gonna do it. I also wish the Petri dish card would have been a little bit thicker, but that's pretty minor. Other than that, I do like the components. Now the gameplay is pretty simple. It's kind of straightforward once you know, and you have that reference card, so you know what happens with the bioreactions, and knowing you can't go over that certain amount or bad things are going to happen. And when you're going to play this game, you got to know what you're getting into. There's going to be some take that to it, and there is luck involved as well. You have to be prepared to know that no matter what happens, what you're trying to do in your Petri dish, it's probably going to get wrecked at some point, or you're going to end up wrecking somebody others. You just can't take it too seriously. And, you know, there is a good amount of luck as well, because you are drawing the Biotix out of the bag. You're never quite sure when you're going to get it, what you're going to get, or when that white timer mark is going to be pulled out of the bag as well. So a round could last really deep or be kind of short. Of course, that adds to kind of the excitement because of that unknown. But again, because of that, there's a lot of luck, and you can try to set things up just right, but it may not turn out the way you want. And that's fine. Again, as long as you know what you're getting into and you don't take it too seriously. I think this is the kind of game where winning is kind of secondary. It's the experience of the game. There is some laughter. Again, if you don't like take-that games, you don't want to wreck somebody's dish or have yours wrecked, then maybe stay away from this. You know, Smirk and Daggers, they kind of have a lot of games that kind of have that take-that to it, and I do enjoy those kind of games. So just know that going in, and just relax and enjoy the game, that you know, and the experience of it. Have a good time, laugh when these bioreactions occur, because they'll probably happen quite often. I'm not saying that winning isn't important in this game. Of course, everybody, well, most people want to win, but whereas a lot of games you work very hard, work on your strategy, try to get things just right so you can create that winning condition, things are going to get messed up here. So just know that going in. It's fun. It's not always going to be pleasant what happens to you, but just be able to laugh. I think it's a good game, and I've given it a 7. So if you've enjoyed this review, hit the like button below and subscribe to our channel. Check out our other great videos, and once again, I thank you for stopping by.
This Flash Review was brought to you by the Arch Gaming Network. Check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook.